Every year, the photographers at the Portland Press Herald take thousands of pictures. When December comes around, the Press Herald looks back and chooses its photos of the year, the best of the best. Chief photographer Greg Reck and staff photographer Ben McKenna joined us for a look at just some of the pictures from 2023 that made the cut.
Well, this is a photo by Derek Davis, and he had been working on a story of the Baxter Seagulls. It's a basketball team with the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. And the players are comprised of middle schools from around southern Maine. And even though in this particular game, the team was losing by a wide margin, this boy who just sunk a basket, this is 11-year-old Abel Celestino, he just sunk a basket and he is so joyful about it. And I think it just brings that positivity and joy of sports to life.
Pure joy. Love it. Great shot. Let's move on to one that you took, Greg. This was for a story about PFAS contamination on farms in Maine. And to me, this is a very affecting photo. The image will tell us the story, but you give us the backstory.
Well, this is Fred Stone. He has a dairy farm in Arundel, or I should say had. He's no longer milking after the PFAS contamination was discovered. And he had to kill off most of his herd because of that contamination, but there were some specialty cows that he could not part with. And these were 3 of them. And he has an obvious love for these cows, but what strikes me is when I was in that barn with him, the cows have a love for him too.
Yeah, powerful, as we said, emotional. One of those images that really does bring a new layer to the understanding of the story. Let's move on to what was one of the major ongoing stories of the year in the city of Portland, Ben, and that was how the city has dealt with its homelessness crisis. You got a shot of a police officer. Tell me about how this one came about.
It was a long, chaotic day. This was the first of 7 occasions where the city or state officials dismantled homeless encampments. And this first one, I didn't know what to expect. I was apprehensive, so I just immersed myself in the work. At the end of the day, I wasn't sure if I had any good pictures, but I brought my edit to my boss, Michelle McDonald, and she singled out this picture. She turned to me and she said, "You know what? You got the entire story in a single image here." And
the blue truck and then the blue down the blanket or tarp or whatever it is that's covering the man. The blues really make that image pop, don't they?
Yeah, it's nice to have a symmetry of colors in an image, and
when you can. It doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always work. That's the thing. It never. You can't ever depend on anything when you're shooting out in the field. A nice photo from one of the other staff photographers, Brianna Soka, with an asylum seeker, and this has been another major story in the city of Portland this year. Give me the story on this one, Greg.
This is a tender moment between a father and son in the family shelter in Portland. They had just arrived. Many of the new arrivals had nowhere to go, so they were like sleeping in chairs overnight in the family shelter on their first night or two. And Brianna captured this tender moment and learned the backstory that they're from the Democratic Republic of Congo. They traveled to Angola, ended up in Brazil. There was a Congolese man who was beaten to death in Brazil, so they didn't feel safe there, went to Mexico, eventually made their way to Maine. And I think this dilemma has become so politically charged. One of the things I love about that shot is it cuts through it, because any parent feels that tenderness.
Instantly turns it into a very human story.
Yep.
The biggest story of the year in Maine, tragically, the mass shootings in Lewiston. All hands on deck for that one. Before the shooter's body was found, police, of course, were doing extensive manhunts all over Androscoggin County and beyond. You got a shot that I found really interesting because it's, I think, kind of a classic Maine shot. Tell me about this one.
I was assigned to go out to Bowdoin and search for family members of Robert Card out there. And this farm to the right belongs to his parents, and what really struck me is it's so of Maine and rural Maine and sort of pastoral, but it was a very tense time. It wasn't long after the shot that the ATF and FBI showed up doing house-to-house searches, which became very tense. And but this was that sort of peaceful moment before that chaos.
We started with a happy shot. We're going to end with a happy shot. Sean Patrick Willett with one that will kind of tell its own story, but they never tell their own story. That's why we'd like to have you guys here. Yep. What's the backstory?
So this photo falls into the category that we call a standalone feature. It is a photo that we need to find because the news cycle of the day, the stories don't necessarily have a visual component, so they need a photo that can carry the local page. Occasionally that pressure gets ramped up and they need the photo for A1, and that really sort of cranks up the expectations, right?
It's got to be good. Ben, why do you like this shot?
Well, I just have to hand it to Sean. It's like finding a leprechaun in the wild when you're out feature hunting like this. And he did it, and he's got nerves of steel.
Always good when you find a leprechaun out in the wild. If you would like to see the Portland Press Herald photos of the year, you have options. They are all posted on the Press Herald's website. You can also see them on display at the Portland Public Library's main branch through February 17th, and there is a free reception there Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. You'll have a chance at that reception to talk to the photographers about their work. Then, in March, the photos are going to be on display at the Camden Public Library. In April and early May, they move to the Town Library in Cumberland. And finally, in July, they will be at the Public Library in Kennebunkport. All of those displays of the Press Herald photos of the year are free and open to the public.